to get things started, we'll call to order the FARGODOME Authority meeting for Tuesday, February 25th. Before you have the agenda. Is there any additions to the agenda? I have one. I'm just going to put in there. We'll call it A, and that's convention update. So that's for me. Late. Move to approve. Second. So we have one item to the agenda. There's a first from Blake, a second from Rick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. So the agenda is set, and we vote on to item number 1, and that's the minutes from January 28th. And just take a brief minute here to go through.
Motion to approve. Second.
We got a first from Mike and a second from Todd to accept the January 28th minutes as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Going on to item number 2, that's old business. Is there any old business before the FDA? Hearing none. Item 3, new business. 3A, and that's general manager, Rob.
All right, thanks. Page 4, it's just the 1 month, January. So the page is the same. So we had number of 7 events with 13,651 attendees compared to a budget of 11,000. We had event income of just over 149,000 compared to a budget of 134,000. We had indirect expenses of 452,000 compared to a budget of 444,000. So we did have a net deficit for the month of January of 141,700, but that was a favorable comparison to the budgeted deficit of 147,700. On the event side, the event comments, the Boat and Marine Show was in January, pretty consistent with budget, as you can see. Rumble on the Red had strong attendance, and so above budget was strong attendance in food and beverage sales. We also had the North Dakota Elite Cheer event, and that was not budgeted. And so a note on the Rumble on the Red, that event, yes, it was budgeted in 25 and 24, but this was the 24 one, but this is the 25 budget. Because with the schedule for 24, but 25, and then now coming up in end of December 25, 26, with the way Christmas and New Year's fall, it's the previous years, but we grabbed it from the budget. So we won't be having Rumble in December of 25 again, so 2 in 1 year. We'll have it in January of 26. But in 26, assuming it continues, there'll be 2 Rumble on the Reds. So, repeat back to me what I just said.
Two is better than 1.
There you go. Unless,
Yeah.
0.
Zero.
Unless it's a Feed My Starving Children, which didn't happen. So on the convention miscellaneous, below budget, Feed My Starving Children was budgeted, but did not occur here. They chose a different site due to their challenges. That first occurred here at FARGODOME in 24, and they were very confident they were coming back, but ran into some logistical issues, and so it did not happen. Other income, below budget, slightly. Interest continues to be our friend for now, but ticket revenue is slightly lower than budget with fewer events on sale. On the indirect expense side, labor was above budget, primarily due to both overtime for a busy January and a snowy and or icy January. So a lot of overtime on the snow removal side, ice management, and then we had a week where we had no events, and then we had a week where we had every single day busy. So it's tough to manage overtime on that time. G&A was also above budget with higher insurance expense. There's also some additional phone expense from Consolidated Communications that the light just went off, but I forgot to find the stuff I told Zach I would try to find for him. But they kind of rebuild us catch-up billing, so apparently they've learned their billing practices from Excel. But so we're looking into that as far as what was added or something such as that, because we can't really figure out why it wasn't a huge dollar amount, but it was more. And on the operations side, we were below budget. Electricity expense was accrued higher than what it came in at. And then we did have higher steam and cooling or steam expense. January was a cold month, and again, like I said, we had a couple of weeks where we had nothing, and it was really nice, and then a couple of weeks where we had a lot of stuff going on, and it chose to be cold and wind out of the northwest. So kind of a timing there. Questions on the financials? Okay. Past events since our last meeting, which was on Tuesday, January 28th, which was the day the dirt was coming in from Monster Jam. They loaded in then the Tuesday the 27th through Friday the 31st. We had one show on Saturday the 1st and one show on Sunday the 2nd, matinee show. So it's the first time in a long time we've done one show on 2 different days. So we're kind of seeing what the evaluation is. And we only really, I think, have one other Sunday performance to compare it to. So we're kind of looking at that as we move forward. The NDSU Career and Advising Center moved in on Tuesday the 4th and had their large spring career fair on the 5th. The economy seems to be pretty strong, and there seems to be a lot of people looking to hire, because I think they had 260 booths with basically employers and had a long wait list and had a lot of students come through, so very positive to see that. The 7th and 8th, Friday, Saturday, the Kiwanis Pancake Carnival loaded in on the 7th and had their event on the 8th. Around 8,000 people coming in for that, for the 7 to 3 p.m. serving of pancakes on there. And this past week, we actually had a down week. It's kind of weird how the weekends in February fell this year, with the first being on a Saturday and then the 28th. So wrestling seems like an open weekend, but just the way the calendar falls, state wrestling was this past week. Loaded in on the 18th and 19th, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then just completed that on this past weekend, 2021 and 22. Great attendance, great wrestling. So I think, as far as I know, everything mostly went well. I've heard some feedback, but we get feedback all the time, and some of it's constructive. Which brings us to today. Any questions on past events? Comments? Okay. Then moving forward, the home show is actually moving in today, or starting to set up today. We'll move in Wednesday and Thursday of this week and Friday morning, and the actual hours will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this week. They will load out Sunday night and Monday morning the 3rd, get done about noon, while Sedenco decorating resets, and they start loading in the River Valley Sportsman Show right away Tuesday morning the 4th, and continues the 5th and 6th. And those event hours then are on Thursday the 6th, Friday the 7th, Saturday the 8th, Sunday the 9th. They'll load up and get out sometimes Monday morning the 10th, as operations will reset the building, and FARGODOME will host, in conjunction with the Shack for the first 2 days, the High School Activities Association's Division AA, so the big schools, their combined boys and girls basketball tournament. On the 13th, FARGODOME will host the 4 quarterfinal games for the girls. On the 14th, Friday, FARGODOME will host all of the championship semifinals, so 2 girls, 2 boys. And on Saturday, the FARGODOME will host all 6 of the games related to that tournament, which would be 3 boys, 3 girls. And the Shack also will have 4 games on Thursday, 4 games on Friday, and 4 games on Saturday, but those are related to Division A and B boys. So looking at the calendar, actually starting today, if you like basketball, North Fargo is the place to be, because I think the Shack has games, with the exception of Sunday of this week and Sunday of next week, and maybe Monday the 3rd. The Shack is hosting 2 to 6 games every single day, or an NDSU basketball game. And then FARGODOME is hosting a bunch of games as well.
40 high school games will be in the Shack in the course of what, 4 weeks? 3.5 weeks.
After that, we get back to you know, I don't know, maybe serious business. And we've got the Institute of, I guess I forget what they call it, the Sugar Beet Institute. But their show will move in on Monday and Tuesday, the 17th and 18th, with their Sugar Beet show. The Red River Valley Sugar Beet Growers on Wednesday and Thursday, the 19th and 20th. We do have the weekend of March 22nd off, closed, and then the rodeo will come in on March 25th, and we will host the rodeo, PRCA rodeo on Friday and Saturday, the 28th and 29th. And the dirt will then get loaded out of the building the evening or overnight 29 and cleaned on the 30th, which takes us to our next meeting, which is a reminder will be Tuesday, April 1st.
Finance and building.
Finance and building will be on Monday, March 31st.
Thank you.
And that'll be a noon start time, right? And then the FDA will still be at 1 o'clock or 3:30, but it'll be a week later essentially. If there are no questions, comments, past upcoming events, that would conclude my report.
Any questions of Rob? Thank you, sir. Carrying on, we will go to 3B, and that is the committee reports. Rick, the table's yours.
Certainly. Well, number one on the agenda, A on the agenda here is the audit was presented by Bailey. The Fargo Illness in the past has received a modified audit opinion. There's some exceptions because of disclosures aren't included, which really do not change the financial statements themselves, so there's a modified opinion on that. The auditor's opinion did state that the financial statements were prepared in accordance with GAAP, free of material misstatement, and fairly presented, as well as there were no audit findings or any adjustments proposed. So clean audit basically for that. And moving on to the next item, and I'll ask for a motion to approve that at the end here. And the Finance Committee did recommend approval to the board for that. Moving on to the January financial reports, Rob did a great job of covering those, so no need to go into that further. Project and capital updates, finance and building did have a couple of different projects that Rob presented. First one was a capital budget update. There was a line item from the 2023 capital budget, FD 2309. That was for $60,000, has not been completed, and due to the timing with the company that will be doing the work in this project, this item will not likely occur until 26. And then there's a current need to upgrade the lighting system and the relay panels as they're starting to fail and the old panels are obsolete. So Rob requested and to reallocate $50,500 from FD 2309 to FD 2512 to upgrade the lighting system. And that motion was passed by both the Finance and the Building Committee. The next item was a lift station pump control system. City Engineering and Public Works are looking at replacing the motors, or a motor and pumps, along with a control system for lift station number 28. The cost of that is $518,500. We were given an option either to go with special assessments on repaying that or paying that out of the permanent fund. The Finance Committee and the Building Committee recommended paying that out of the building fund in 2026, or the permanent fund in 2026. Rob also updated us on the turf, reviewing the annual mechanical maintenance agreement with AstroTurf, and there'll be further discussion on that item. With that, that was on the projects. The next item was escrow and performance, escrow balance and performance. January was a great month for the escrow, had a good realization and good revenue. With that, I will ask for move to approve the 24 audit presentation, the January financial reports, and the rest of the Finance Committee report.
Someone out.
Blake, you got it? Okay.
Second.
Oh, he first.
Rick and Blake,
Second.
okay.
You guys second. He's the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Blake.
All right, good work. Thank you, Rick.
One other update on the capital side that we talked about, I don't know if it was at the FDA last month or whatever, but the new basketball floor did arrive yesterday. It was set up, it looks nice, and the clown face of the other one was loaded on and sent back to Michigan.
So who took the old one, Rob?
The company.
They actually took the whole thing back?
They
Okay.
gave, it was only $9,000 discount. He was, the sales guy was here yesterday, and I was giving him a little bit of crap for, well, we have some that we don't give him any money back. I'm like, whatever. But he did say, it'll take, so they'll likely go through and sand it all down and repaint it and resell it. But that's about a $50,000 process to actually sand it down. He said that another process where they just clean it and reseal it, it's about $15,000 for that space as well. But that doesn't involve sanding it down. But, so yeah, no, Sarah did a very good job designing it. And looked through it, looks very nice, and I think it'll be great and hopefully well appreciated. We'll see if there's any dead spots still, and if there are, then it's not my problem. It's a brand new floor.
Yep.
And the stanchion shelled stanchion guy came out and re-drilled the floors and got all that set, and let's just pretend that he was done really quick and there was no issues with the stanchions. But it is done and perfect now.
How long does it take to put the floor in?
Once it's all moved out of storage, hour and a half, hour. It goes very quick. In fact, the sales guy was like, I thought I was going to miss my 5 o'clock flight, and it was at 1, and it was like, it came off the truck and it was done. So with 2 crews running it, our operations group can get it done hour 15 minutes. So what they ended up doing was putting it down at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, did some other stuff, waited for the Shelby guy to get all his stuff done, and then about 6 o'clock last night, pulled it back up, so it was out of the way for today, for the load-ins.
Then you dribble a bunch of basketballs on it.
I don't think a basketball touched it, to be honest with you. I thought about it, but
Well, I'm gonna be the first one to make that more, I guarantee you. Not anymore. Not anymore.
sorry, go ahead.
No, thanks. Good work on the committee reports here. We'll go to the last item, that's additional items. Item A, and that's convention center update, so on. Yesterday, myself, Rob, and Rick met with City to learn a little bit more with respect to the RFP for the convention center, and then also figure out how we fit into this whole mix here. Rob had brought up the point, and I think it's a very good point, is how does a department of the city of Fargo respond to an RFP issued by the city of Fargo? So it's kind of a rhetorical question if you think about that. So we got some good information from the city in that respect. What we are going to do, that being the FDA, and I'll do this at the March 3rd meeting, is the municipal code, and I won't go into detail, Article 34-01 implies but isn't formalized that the FARGODOME can do this work responding to the RFP. So on the 3rd of March, I will go to the City Commission and ask for the City Commission's endorsement to allow the FDA to be the official responder to the RFP. So that is really the substance of where we are with the convention stuff right now, just getting ourselves set up so we can respond to that RFP when it does come down. So just wanted to share that, receive it, no action necessary. Questions? None. Is there any additional business, more business before the FDA? Hearing none, we're adjourned.